Fighting is an essential part of endless space too. To destroy your enemies, you'll battle in space and invade planets. Let's have a look at the best way to conquer the world. Any type of ship can be part of a battle in endless space too, but you will want to unlock and use the one designed for it. For example, we're not going to look at the exploration, the leecher, or the arc for the Vodiani, for example. We're going to concentrate on the ones that are fighting. The small, medium, and large ships that are attacker, protectors, hunters, coordinators, and carriers. This is their role and this is their size. It's very important to remember that. All the different ships have some special abilities. For example, this one will be able to focus fire on flotilla, and they are very good to damage weapons. Ships are unlocked with technology in the Empire Development Quarter of the tech tree. You'll see them here. It will give you the small attacker and small protector ship here. Here you will unlock the medium coordinator. Here you will unlock the medium hunter, and the carrier will be unlocked here. Very important to see that they are linked to other technologies. For example, this one will give you additional module slots for titanium or additional module slot for Hyperion. All of the different type of ship will have technology to get more module slots. That's very important if you can afford to do so, and if you have the strategic resources to do so. Talking about modules, most of them are located in the military quarter of the tech tree. You can unlock them the normal way, and you will have to choose between the different types of module, which we're going to talk about in a moment. However, make sure to remember that most of them are located there, and that if you want to improve the equipment of your fleet, you'll have to progress in the military quarter of the tech tree. You can design every type of ship the way you want, but it's important to first look at their statistics. They all have health point, manpower, movement point, command point, attack and their stats for the different types of attack, defense and the stat for the different types of defense, and whether they are effective at long, medium and short range. Let's look at it in a little bit more detail. Health point is basically how much health you have. Once you reach 0, your ship is destroyed. Manpower is how much troop you can move in the ship, so it's basically a value that you will use when you invade a planet. Movement point, I think it's quite self-explanatory. Movement speed, sorry. Command point is a number of points that is assigned to a ship. You combine all of them together, you get a flotilla or a fleet. And in your fleet, they are capped by the amount of command points you can get in your empire. It's usually 4, 7, 10, and then up to 24, I think you can get. So you'll see that larger ships have larger command points. So this is to give a threshold to the amount of power you can get in one fleet. Then you've got the attack and the defensive part, which we'll look at in a moment. Very important to know that all of these have tooltips, and it's quite important to read them and understand them if you want to min-max your ship design. The other thing I would like to say is that small ships will get modules with a multiplier of 1. But if you look at large ships, they will have a multiplier of 4, which means that every module you install is actually 4 instances of the module. That's why one module equipped on a different type of ship can yield different results. The medium ships will get a ×2 bonuses on modules. Modules are divided in 4 categories. Got weapon, defensive, support, and squadron modules. Let's look at them in a little bit more detail. Weapon modules are divided into 2 categories, projectile and energy, and within each category you've got 3 types of weapons. You've got the kinetic modules weapon, the missile modules weapons, the fighter units, and on the energy side you've got the laser, the beams, and the bombers. Each of them have different stats. They've got different DPS, damage per second, different weapon type, and they also have, for example, in the example of these basic unstable slugs, extra damage against missiles or squadrons. Also pay attention to the range. As I said before, you want to make sure you are efficient at a certain range and you will fight at this range, otherwise it will be not efficient. You want to make sure that you use the best type of modules possible. Of course, modules with strategics are much more efficient than basic ones, which are the white ones. However, you might not be able to unlock all of them because you'll have to make a choice between the different strategics and the modules you can get. So make sure to pay attention to that, and if you can, equip your ships with strategics. Defensive modules are used to protect your ship to projectile or the energy weapons. You've got two types of modules. You've got your hull plating, which is used to counter the projectile weapons, and you've got your shield against energy weapons. Make sure to have a good mix of both if you want to fight any type of army. Support modules are not always focused toward war, but some of them are pretty important, like the movement point, the health bonus and repair to repair after battle, manpower if you want to have more manpower in your fleet to invade worlds, or the antimatter lancer, for example, which gives you increased chance to be targeted, which can be useful for defensive ships. Last, we've got the squadron types, and squadrons are pretty efficient against certain type of ship, as you can see here on the tooltip. For example, bombers will be very efficient against large ships, so carrier. When pulled into a fight, you'll have to choose a tactic. You can choose your different tactics from the battle tactics menu here, and you can drop the tactics you might want to use over there. However, I would say that the turtle and power to shields, which are the two basic ones, are usually quite good and most of the time enough to encompass and deal with most of the different situations. We've got some, I would say, special ones for dust or science gain per lost command point on fleet, which can be useful, but I would say usually it's fine to use the two main ones. So how do you choose them? Well, basically whenever you engage into a fight, you will be asked to choose the battle tactic here. And what's important is two things. First of all, look at what the enemy has in terms of type of modules, weapon modules. For example here, this guy has a lot of energy based. So I would probably like to have plus 75 shield absorption, so I would pick power to shield. However, I also need to make sure that I'm efficient at long range, because otherwise I won't be able to touch the guy. For that, we can go into this mode, and we can see that yes, we are efficient at pretty much all type of range. This guy, my Crusader 4, is efficient at medium range, so I'll leave him in the first group, which will go and fight at medium range as soon as possible. However, that guy, I would like him to be somewhere else, so you can move and assign ships at different places if you want to increase the main long, medium, short range of your different ships. When you want to invade a planet and conquer it from your opponent, you'll have to first be around their system, make sure you destroyed all their fleets, and then you'll have the option to invade the system. Invasion works pretty basically. You've got manpower, which is here at the top, and they are divided into three types: infantry, armored, and air units. Then you'll need to choose a plan: preemptive bombing, guerrilla, and blitz. That usually depends on the type of troops you have and the type of the enemy troops. I usually think guerrilla is a pretty good one. Sieging and invading a system takes a few turns, so don't worry if that takes time. For example, here I've got a minor victory. That will probably take me another 1 or 2 turns to be able to seize this system from this guy. One thing is, make sure to first unlock the different type of troops, armor and air. Have a good ratio between these three. I think 75, 15 and 10 is pretty good. And make sure to upgrade them as much as you can. So for that you'll need strategics and dust. Once you've unlocked everything, your invasion force will be pretty unbeatable. In this video I would like to give you some tips about your strategy. First of all, keep in mind that the meta is changing, the developers are tweaking the stats a little bit, so what I'm saying now might not be right in, let's say, 6 months. One thing to do is you should specialize your armies. It's always good to have an army specialized, for example, on invading, with additional manpower, and one that is having the best equipment possible, so all the strategics, so that it can destroy any type of army. So basically you send it first and then you invade, because there will be no one to attack you. Also remember to assign your heroes and use them. Heroes can be super powerful. For example, this guy is level 10, and if assigned to a fleet, it's going to give plus 80% damage, 40% manpower refill rate, which is amazing, more health and shield capacity. This guy is a monster, and I would advise you to hire heroes for your main fleet. Also, don't underestimate experience on your different fleet. More experienced fleets can get up to plus 100 or 125% health point, which is just fantastic. So always remember to look at the experience, try to keep your fleet, and try to make sure you heal them rather than destroying them and recreating them. Now, to end this, let's look at modules. The best module composition you can get at the moment when your ship is to focus on energy. Energy-based is much better than projectile-based at the moment. So for example, in this design, I'm going to assign a mix of lasers and beams so that I'm efficient at multiple range. I usually prefer beams over laser because they're efficient at any type of range, but that thing depends on what you prefer in terms of style of tactics. I usually like to have one type of slugs as well. These guys are very strange, but they're very efficient because they've got an extra damage against missiles. That makes them very efficient against ships that are projectile based. That will let us focus our defense on energy. I usually like to go for something like that, like 1/3 against projectile, 2/3 against energy, because I've got, I would say, active protection with my kinetic weapons, the slugs here, against missiles. So I'm not going to take a lot of damage anyway, but if I take some, I have a little bit of defense on top of that. I always put these guys as well, so let's put maybe another one here, and let's put this one there. In terms of attacking, we said we can have one more here and one more there. Let me pick the quadronics one. In terms of support, this fleet probably needs a little bit of movement point, extra movement. So I'm going to give extra movement and extra manpower power. Actually, this will not be an invading fleet, so let's pretend I'm going to use it and I'm going to repair faster. And the last is, do I want a squadron? I probably would like to have a bomber unit. I will take away one of these and put this one, and that is my ultimate design for a ship. In this instance, it's a large ship. It's very powerful. 27k attack power, almost 2k defense power, 34k health point. This is fantastic, and this is probably the best kind of composition you can get in terms of module. If you put these on a fleet, get, let's say, 2 of them, a very good experienced leader, and your fleet will be unstoppable. That will let you exterminate the rest of the faction and conquer the galaxy. Hope you find this helpful, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.